The New York Times just dropped an explosive investigative report into Elon Musk's alleged and allegedly increasing drug abuse and subsequent erratic behavior as he became a key part of Donald Trump's orbit. And now House Democrats are calling for further investigation into whether Musk was abusing drugs during his time as the head of Doge and a special government employee, and also whether Musk lied on official government forms asking about drug use. But before we unpack this scandal, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we're going to take a full look at the New York Times report, but just to give you a snapshot of where we are. This is from Fact Post News on Twitter. New reporting reveals that Elon Musk has been known to heavily abuse drugs. This is a quote from the article that we're about to read. Quote, Musk's drug consumption went well beyond occasional use. He told people he was taking so much ketamine that it was affecting his bladder, a known effect of chronic use. He took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms, and he traveled with a daily medication box that held about 20 pills, including ones with the markings of the stimulant Adderall, according to a photo of the box and people who have seen it. Okay? Now, in response, the official Democratic page is making fun of Musk, and understandably so, posting a short video of Musk engaging in the mannerisms that one might associate with drug use, somebody who was high or stimulated at the time. And House Oversight Democrats are calling for further action, official action on this. They say, a month ago, Oversight Dems requested a copy of Elon Musk's security clearance form, which includes information about past drug use. Lying on the form equals up to 5 years of imprisonment. Given this new reporting, it's time the administration hand over that form. Now, I will also provide, again, before we look at the actual report, just for context, you may recall that a year or two ago, cocaine was found at the Biden White House, and Secret Service investigated, and they said that they couldn't find the user of it. A lot of people speculate, oh, it must be a Hunter Biden or somebody. There was and should have been an investigation. And even the Trump administration is looking to politically expound on it. They are reopening the investigation. The FBI is now investigating. FBI deputy director says agency will further investigate cocaine found in the White House under President Biden. Okay, so apparently investigating drug use in and near the White House and levers of power is really, really important to the Trump administration. And you know what? I agree. So let's see what we learned from this bombshell report. On the campaign trail, Elon Musk juggled drugs and family drama. As Musk entered Trump's orbit, his private life grew increasingly tumultuous, and his drug use was more intense than previously known. As Elon Musk became one of Donald Trump's closest allies last year, leading raucous rallies and donating about $275 million to help him win the presidency, he was also using drugs far more intensely than previously known, according to people familiar with his activities. Musk's drug consumption went well beyond occasional use. He told people he was taking so much ketamine, a powerful anesthetic, that it was affecting his bladder, a known effect of chronic use. He took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms, and he traveled with a daily medication box that held about 20 pills, including ones with the markings of the stimulant Adderall, according to a photo of the box and people who've seen it. They note, it's unclear whether Musk, 53, was using drugs when he became a fixture at the White House this year and was handed the power to slash the federal bureaucracy. But he has exhibited erratic behavior, insulting cabinet members, gesturing like a Nazi, and garbling his answers in a staged interview. At the same time, Musk's family life has grown increasingly tumultuous as he has negotiated overlapping romantic relationships and private legal battles involving his growing brood of children, according to documents and interviews. On Wednesday evening, Musk announced that he was ending his stint with the government after lamenting how much time he'd spent on politics instead of his businesses. Musk and his lawyer did not respond to requests for comment this week about his drug use and personal life. He's previously said he was prescribed ketamine for depression, taking it about every 2 weeks. And he told his biographer, quote, I really don't like doing illegal drugs. The White House did not respond to questions about whether it had asked Musk to take drug tests. After this article was published Friday morning, Harrison Fields, a White House spokesman, issued a statement to the New York Times crediting Musk with helping cut government waste. He declined to comment on Musk's drug use. Interesting. As a large government contractor, Musk's aerospace firm, SpaceX, must maintain a drug-free workforce and administers random drug tests to its employees. But Musk has received advance warnings of the test, according to people close to the process. SpaceX did not respond to questions about these warnings. Musk, who joined the president's inner circle after making a vast fortune on cars, satellites, and rocket ships, has long been known for grandiose statements and a mercurial personality. Supporters see him as an eccentric genius whose slash-and-burn management style is key to his success. But last year, as he jumped into the political arena, Some people who knew him worried about his frequent drug use, mood swings, and fixation on having more children. This account of his behavior is based on private messages obtained by the Times, as well as interviews with more than a dozen people who have known or worked with him. This year, some of his longtime friends have renounced him, pointing to some of his public content. Quote, Elon has pushed the boundaries of his bad behavior more and more, said Philip Lowe, a neuroscientist and one-time friend of Musk's, who criticized him for his Nazi-like gesture at a rally. And some women are challenging Musk for their control of their children. One of his former partners, Claire Boucher, a musician known as Grimes, has been fighting with Musk over their 5-year-old son, known as X. Musk is extremely attached to the boy, taking him to the Oval Office and high-profile gatherings that are broadcast around the world. Grimes has previously complained that the appearances violate a custody agreement in which she and Musk agreed to try to keep their children out of the public eye, according to people familiar with her concerns and the provision, which has not been previously reported. She's told people that she worries about the boy's safety and that frequent travel and sleep deprivation are harming his health. Another mother, the right-wing writer Ashley St. Clair, revealed that in February she had had a secret relationship with Musk and had given birth to his 14th known child. Musk offered her a large settlement to keep his paternity concealed, but she refused. He sought a gag order in New York to force Ms. St. Clair to stop speaking publicly, she said in an interview. Ketamine habit. Musk has described some of his mental health issues in interviews and on social media, saying in one post that he has felt, quote, great highs, terrible lows, and unrelenting stress. He has denounced traditional therapy and antidepressants. He plays video games for hours on end. He struggles with binge eating, according to people familiar with his habits, and takes weight loss medication. And he posts day and night on his social media platform, X. Musk has a history of recreational drug use, the Wall Street Journal reported last year. Some board members at Tesla, his electric vehicle company, have worried about his use of drugs, including Ambien, a sleep medication. In an interview in March 2024, the journalist Don Lemon pressed him on his drug use. Musk said he took only, quote, a small amount of ketamine about once every 2 weeks as a prescribed treatment for negative moods. Quote, if you've used too much ketamine, you can't really get work done, and I have a lot of work, he said. He'd actually developed a far more serious habit, the Times found. Musk had been using ketamine often, sometimes daily, and mixing it with other drugs, according to people familiar with his consumption. The line between medical use and recreation was blurry, troubling some people close to him. He also took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms at private gatherings across the United States and at least one other country, according to those who attended the events. The FDA has formally approved the use of ketamine only as an anesthetic in medical procedures. Doctors with special licenses may prescribe it for psychiatric disorders like depression, but the agency has warned about the risks, which came into sharp relief after the death of actor Matthew Perry from Friends. The drug has psychedelic properties and can cause disassociation from reality. Chronic use can lead to addiction and problems with bladder pain and control. By the spring of last year, Musk was ramping up criticism of President Biden, particularly his policies on illegal immigration and diversity initiatives. Musk was also facing federal investigations into his businesses. Regulators were looking into crashes of Tesla's self-driving cars and allegations of racism at its factories, among other complaints. Quote, there are at least half a dozen initiatives of significance to take me down, he wrote in a text message to someone close to him last May. Quote, the Biden administration views me as the number 2 threat after Trump. Quote, if I can't be president, but I can help Trump defeat Biden, and I will, he added. He publicly endorsed Trump in July. So that text message was sent in May, and he endorsed Trump in July. Around that time, Musk told people that his ketamine use was causing bladder issues, according to people familiar with the conversations. On October 5th, he appeared with Trump at a rally for the first time, bouncing up and down around the candidate. That evening, Musk shared his excitement with a person close to him. Quote, I'm feeling more optimistic after tonight, he wrote in a text message. Quote, tomorrow we will unleash the anomaly in the Matrix. Quote, this is not something on the chessboard, so they will be quite surprised, Musk added about an hour later. Quote, lasers from space. After Trump won, Musk rented a cottage at Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida resort, to assist in the transition. Musk attended personal meetings and sat in on phone calls with foreign leaders, and he crafted plans to overhaul the federal government under the new Department of Government Efficiency. Family secrets. Musk has also been juggling the messy consequences of his efforts to produce more babies. By 2022, Musk, who is married and divorced 3 times, had fathered 6 children in his first marriage, including one who died in infancy, as well as 2 with Grimes. She told people she believed they were in a monogamous relationship and building a family together. But while a surrogate was pregnant with their 3rd child, Grimes was furious to discover that Musk had recently fathered twins with Siobhan Zillis, an executive at his brain implant company Neuralink, according to people familiar with the situation. Musk was by then sounding an alarm about the world's declining birth rates, sounding an alarm that the world's declining birth rates would lead to the end of civilization, publicly encouraging people to have children and donating $10 million to a research initiative on population growth. Privately, he was spending time with Simone and Malcolm Collins, prominent figures in the emerging pro-natalist movement, and urging his wealthy friends to have as many children as possible. He believed the world needed more intelligent people, according to people aware of the conversations. Mr. Collins declined to comment on his relationship with Musk, but said, quote, Elon is one of the people taking this cause seriously. Even as Musk fathered more children, he favored his son X. By the fall of 2022, during a period when he and Grimes were broken up, he began traveling with the boy for days at a time, often without providing advance notice, according to people familiar with his actions. Grimes reconciled with Musk only to get another unpleasant surprise. In August 2023, she'd learned that Zillis was expecting a third child with Musk via surrogacy and was pregnant with their fourth. See, sidebar, I did not know this. Like the attention I paid to Elon Musk until this article has basically, it's only been about his politics and his political advocacy and his political rhetoric. So like I am learning new details about this as well. Grimes and Musk began a contentious custody battle during which Musk kept X, and again I'm getting it confused here because X is the name of the son and the social media site. The son X for months. They eventually signed a joint custody agreement that specified keeping their children out of the spotlight. By mid-2023, unknown to either Grimes or Zillis, Musk had started a romantic relationship with Ashley St. Clair, the writer who lives in New York City. St. Clair said in an interview that at first, Musk told her he wasn't dating anybody else. But when she was about 6 months pregnant, he acknowledged that he was romantically involved with Zillis, who went on to become a more visible fixture in Musk's life. St. Clair said that Musk told her he'd fathered children around the world, including one with a Japanese pop star. He said he'd be willing to give his sperm to anyone who wanted to have a child. Okay. Quote, he made it seem like this was just his altruism, and he generally believed these people should just have children, St. Clair said. St. Clair said that if she was in a delivery room, this has me all fucked up. The sperm thing. Okay. St. Clair said that when she was in a delivery room giving birth in September, Musk told her over disappearing signal messages that he wanted to keep his paternity and relationship quiet. This threw me off a big one. Like, okay. Get it together. Okay. On election night, St. Clair and Musk both went to Mar-a-Lago to celebrate Trump's victory, but she had to pretend that she hardly knew him, she said. He offered her $15 million and $100,000 a month until their son turned 21, in exchange for her silence, according to documents reviewed by The Times and first reported by The Wall Street Journal. But she did not want her son's paternity to be hidden. After she went public in February, ahead of a tabloid story, she sued Musk to acknowledge the paternity and later to get emergency child support. Musk sought a gag order, claiming that any publicity involving the child or comments by St. Clair or on her experience would be a security risk for the boy. No sympathy for this behavior. Some of Musk's one-time friends have aired concerns about what they considered toxic public behavior. In a January newsletter explaining why their friendship had ended, Sam Harris, a public intellectual, wrote that Musk had used his social media platform to defame people and promote lies. Quote, there is something seriously wrong with his moral compass, if not his perception of reality, Dr. Harris wrote. Later that month, at a Trump inauguration event, Musk thumped his chest and thrust his hand diagonally upward, resembling a fascist salute. Quote, my heart goes out to you, he told the crowd. Quote, it is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured. And that, by the way, just as a sidebar, set the Roman salute aside. That statement is something that I feel like a Nazi would say. Just throwing that out there. I mean, like, I understand why, even, right-wingers are trying to give him the most maximally charitable interpretation. I'm like, dude, when you combine that gesture with that statement, looks pretty bad. Musk dismissed the resulting public outcry, saying he had made a positive gesture. Dr. Lowe, who's chief executive of Neurovigil, a neurotechnology company, was outraged by the performance. He wrote Musk a sharp email, shared with The Times, cursing him, quote, for giving the Nazi salute. When Musk didn't respond to the message, Lowe posted his concerns on social media. Quote, I have no sympathy for this behavior, he wrote on Facebook, referring to the gesture as well as other behaviors. But at some point, after having repeatedly confronted it in private, I believe the ethical thing to do is speak out, forcefully and unapologetically. The next month, Musk once again found himself under scrutiny, this time for an appearance at the Conservative Political Action Conference outside Washington, CPAC. As he watched onto the stage, he was handed a chainsaw from one of his political allies, Javier Milei, the president of Argentina. Quote, "This is the chainsaw for democracy," Musk shouted to the cheering crowd. Some conference organizers told the Times that they did not notice anything out of the ordinary about his behavior behind the scenes. But during an onstage interview, he spoke in disjointed bouts of stuttering and laughing with sunglasses on. Clips of it went viral as many viewers speculated about possible drug use. So that's where we are. That's the explosive report from the New York Times. And again, it's prompting even House Democrats to say, okay, we need to see the official government forms about whether Musk disclosed any sort of drug use when he was a special government employee or the head of Doge, and depending on his answers, whether or not he lied about this. And I do think it's fair game, especially, again, when you consider the predicate and the precedent established by Republicans into their investigations of Hunter Biden, who, unlike Elon Musk, never served in a key position in any administration, including President Biden's own administration. And so we need to hold Elon Musk to an even higher standard than we ever did Hunter Biden, given the vast amounts of power he wielded. Maybe he wasn't abusing drugs ever. Maybe he wasn't abusing drugs. Maybe he was abusing drugs on the campaign and not during the White House. Maybe this report's wrong, but it's pretty credibly sourced and meticulously reported. And this is a question that needs to be investigated and needs to be answered. And quite frankly, Democrats should also tell their constituents that if the administration won't actually look into it, then Democrats will if and when they ever retake power in Congress or the executive or both. But there you have it. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.